Hi, everybody, and welcome into the show. It is our St. Patrick's Day edition of Region Weather Live. I hope you guys had a nice St. Patrick's Day today. We had the parade, obviously, ongoing. Chicago dyed the river green. I think it was yesterday they did that. But either way, it is feeling very Irish around here. And hopefully you had your corned beef today. The way to go. Weather-wise, it feels like winter outside. What's going on? So we're going to talk about that. How long does this stick around, right? When are we going to see summer again? Let's dive in. I mean, we're going to go long range on you here. Things get pretty crazy as it gets into the long range in terms of the ups and downs of March and then eventually into April. So we're going to take that forecast into April as we go through time here. Jeff, good evening to you. Good evening, Rob and Gina. Wendy, happy St. Patrick's Day to you. Susan, happy St. Patrick's Day to you too. Jill, same to you. And thank you very much. Vicky, thank you for checking in from Hobart. And Danielle, happy St. Patty's Day to you too. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, a well-deserved weekend. I know we're back to the grind tomorrow. So let's dive in, shall we? Want to thank our sponsors first and foremost. Tiger Plumbing at the top of things. They've been with us for a long time. Almost, I mean, I think we're over 2 years now, maybe 3 years coming up, maybe end of the year. I'm not sure. But either way, they're fantastic, family-owned business. TigerPlumbing.net, the place to go. They come out for free, which is just awesome for plumbers. They don't charge you. We have an electrician they're electrician. They do a bunch of things, but I mean, they charge us $95 just to come out, and we're on like their super saver plan. Then they analyze the problem and then they charge you for whatever that is, which is just ridiculous. So it just blows my mind that Tiger Plumbing doesn't charge to come out. So they're wasting that gas just to come on out and see you, which is just awesome. They're family-friendly owned business. They're just great. TigerPlumbing.net. You can schedule online or on your phone as well, which is cool. And you can see the plumber who's coming. They're just awesome. Nothing but 5-star reviews for Tiger Plumbing. PSA, that's our public service adjusters in Northwest Indiana. Guys, if you have an insurance claim at all right, insurance is just nasty to deal with and we don't want to do it. But if you have some kind of claim where you have to contact your insurance company, don't go, and this is advice that I'm giving you because everyone that's used them would say the same thing. Don't go to your insurance company first. Go to PSA first. It's publicserviceadjusting.com. They are local to Northwest Indiana. They're licensed, insured. They've got a wonderful team. Check out their Facebook page, their website as well. They're all just local people. And what they do is they'll come in, take pictures right away. They'll get all the information they need, and they will go to your insurance company for you and work on behalf of you. They don't get paid until you do. And what ends up happening is they'll get more money out of your insurance company, basically the money you deserve for fixing whatever that issue is. All right. And so everyone wins in that situation. Check out their reviews. They are literally reviews that aren't like the Amazon ones that are all fixed, right? That say like sponsored. They're amazing. People just love them. So any insurance claims whatsoever, go to PSA. It's public service adjusters or adjusting.com. Ewing MECH, that's the place to go if you have any furnace needs or HVAC. It's going to be air conditioning time soon. It's time to tune up not just the AC, it's also time to keep that furnace running efficiently. If you need any ductwork whatsoever, if you need an indoor humidifier, that is the place to go. They are local, family-owned business. I've talked to them. They've been with us for a long time as well. We talk back and forth. They are wonderful folks at Ewing, and it's ewingmech.com. Please use them if you have any HVAC needs, furnace, air conditioner, whatever it happens to be. Finally, last but not least, our favorite car dealership in Northwest Indiana, Greekers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They've got brand new Jeeps out on the line, ready to go. They have four-wheel drive. They have sunroofs. You could take the doors off. Not this week, but when it warms up again. If you need a new Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram, head on over to Greekers on US 30 in Valpo. All right, let's dive into the forecast. Angel says Tiger Plumbing is awesome. There you go. What more do we need? Angel, thank you very much. Your check will be in the mail. Just kidding. That's not the case. Thank you, Angel, for that. Eileen, thank you very much. The family is doing well. About 5 minutes ago, they were running around naked, both the boys, because I gave them both a bath tonight. Mama was putting Silas to bed. Emmy was getting ready for school tomorrow as well. It's just a madhouse up until this broadcast. Sunday evenings are really rough around here. And I'm sure a lot of you, especially those of you with kids, I know a lot of you do have kids. I'm sure your Sunday evenings are like the routine. You're back in that routine again after having a few days off. So certainly gets crazy, but we managed to make it. And I'm sure you guys did too. All right. So forecast wise, guys, it's colder outside, right? We know that. This is the big picture pattern across the country. Storm system down in the deep south right now. You notice that flow, giving them lots of moisture for them. There's been a snowstorm over the weekend in the Rockies. This system has just been lingering. It's kind of a cutoff low. So they've had days of snow in Colorado. They're getting snow in Arizona, New Mexico. Much needed rain for them. That area of the country could use some rain and some snow. But this system's kind of going to pinwheel its way finally out towards the east in a day or so. But you notice the big picture pattern. Everything's coming south out of Canada. That is a cold weather pattern. And you can see how our clouds literally are coming out of the north, due north from the North Pole, right? And we have kicked off some snow showers. And that trend's going to continue. So in terms of the snow, you can see this flow we have. This is so typical of late March around here. Snow is different in late March, okay, for a couple reasons. Okay, it doesn't stick very well during the day. It sticks at night, all right? So the lake effect snow we have ongoing out in LaPorte County right now, we'll probably have some accumulation by the time we get towards morning. We're probably seeing some of that stick now in some of those locations. So keep that in mind. Snow this time of year, it's hard to stick during the day because of the higher sun angle, but it sticks really well at night once we lose the sun, as long as temperatures are cold enough, right? That's number one. Number two, because we have more heating in March, because the sun is stronger and that sun angle's higher, because we heat more, the snow during the day on radar and when you're under it is almost convective in nature. So what that means, it's almost like summertime thunderstorms this time of year. January, there's not a lot of surface heating, so we don't get a lot of uplift. There's, you don't have cumulonimbus clouds in January, rarely, right? But this time of year, we can get that. And so we get these high growing clouds that are a little bit higher than they are in the wintertime, and they can do some more things. They can produce heavier snow. We get some updrafts and downdrafts going with them, so you can get some gustier winds, and you tend to get heavier bursts of snow. Snow is very bursty this time of year. I know that's not an official term, but I know you know what I mean. And that seems to be what we've had. We've had good bursts of snow across portions of Northwest Indiana, courtesy Lake Michigan. But you will also see how there are some snow showers outside of that. All right. And that's what we're going to see happen tomorrow. So we still will have snow around tomorrow. And the reason why, here's kind of the future cast here. We've got the north wind, but there's another trough. There's another little wiggle in the wind and a little area of uplift coming south on this general trough that's in the eastern half of the country. And so what this will do tomorrow is, as we get a little heating, we're going to start to see an uptick in the activity on radar. So we get a little heating, the Earth's surface warms tomorrow with some peaks of sunshine, and that causes the clouds to rise higher because that heat's rising all of a sudden. And then you get these this checkerboard look to the radar. And if you get underneath those bursts or those checkers, so to speak, you get a burst of snow. And that's what we're going to have tomorrow. We're kind of bursts of snow. Any of them could put down a quick coating, but most of it's going to melt off as soon as, the sun pops back out again. But you notice what we'll be having around here is a pretty decent snow, and you can see all the darker blues with that. The model's picking up really nicely on these bursts that we'll have, okay? We'll still have some lake effect around tomorrow. It's been persistent. It's been very localized. We saw some lake effect in Porter County earlier, but it's really shifted out towards LaPorte County. And that's where I think it'll kind of stay, right on the eastern periphery of Porter, LaPorte County. Not a lot from this, but I think we could see some snow accumulate. We could have a coating, as I mentioned, waking up tomorrow morning. And then I think we do it again tomorrow evening once that sun goes down again. Eventually, all this heads out. You can see how the winds kind of shift around to the southwest. This is tomorrow late evening into tomorrow night. And then there's another clipper system that comes by. And what that will do is really kick up the winds again Monday night into Tuesday. But it looks like most of the snow will miss us with the second one as this deep area of low pressure kind of moves through, okay? So here's kind of the setup next 2 days. Notice how once we get some daytime heating, boom, there's more snow on radar throughout the afternoon tomorrow. And then by evening, it'll start to wind down. Could pick up a little bit of accumulation out east, though, especially as we go into the evening tomorrow. And tomorrow morning might be waking up to some. Clipper goes by, not much of a problem. And then we kind of stay on the cooler side as this kind of reinforces the cold air across the country. All right. So that's the snow. Let me show you how much the models are saying here. There's some accumulation with this. I'm not surprised. Notice how there's not a lot, but areas of LaPorte County could pick up maybe 1 to 2 inches. Again, I think a lot of that melts during the day tomorrow. But notice some of these heavier totals. If you have business travel tomorrow into tomorrow night up into Berrien County. Maybe you're heading up to Grand Rapids, heading over to Lansing, Kalamazoo. You're going to be encountering some lake effect snow as you're traveling 94. So just keep that in mind if you're traveling north and east of here into the snow belt. Even in southwest lower Michigan, there's going to be some snow around. So we're not done with it yet, unfortunately, but not a lot for us here locally. But it will be certainly in the air tomorrow. Okay. All right. Where do we go from there? Where's this warm up? Can we get some warmer air back in here? Because this time of year, I know it's just not a good time in terms of to have more snow. I know we're kind of sick of it, right? So here we go. As we go through time, here's Tuesday. I mentioned the Clipper system that's sliding by to the east. No problems with that. We're going to stay cool on Tuesday. Another system comes in here on Wednesday across the northern Great Lakes, and that will just bring another chunk of cold air in here. So all of these systems are just basically preventing us from warming up. Okay, each one, as we try to warm up, each one brings in another chunk of cold air, and that's kind of where we're going to be on Wednesday as well with some more chilly conditions. We start to rebound on Thursday as another system comes in. So our temperatures are trying to come up Thursday. Another system comes in. This one on Thursday into Friday is not out of the north. It's more Pacific origin, but we've got cold air in place already. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one. And the reason why I say that, the models have been pretty persistent bringing this through. You see this strip of snow on the northern end of the system. It's not completely organized, but it's there. This strip of snow would bring a quick 1 to 3 inches wherever it goes. All right. As of right now, the majority of it is going into northern Illinois and then especially Michigan and Wisconsin. But this could easily, head 25 miles south, and then all of a sudden we're talking accumulating snow Thursday into Friday. So time frame to watch as we put up our little radar, because that's the whole point of the show, is to get you ready for the week ahead. What do I need to know weather-wise? Thursday into Friday, we're going to keep an eye on that storm system, okay? It's not going to be a huge snow if we do get it, but there is the chance we could have maybe a tricky morning rush hour on Friday, okay? Not a slam dunk right now, but we'll keep an eye on it. And you can see right now the Euro does slide it just north of us, but it does bring some snow into the region. It would be a wet snow if anything. Temperatures would probably be like 32, 33, 34 degrees. So salt would work. But again, we'll keep an eye on it. May head north, may not even hit us. We'll see. But then things start to get real interesting. Next weekend, Saturday continues to look dry to start, but then we're watching another system come in from the west. This is going to be the first storm system that things kind of change with, okay? All week we're dealing with this kind of the same thing, these shots of snow across the northern lakes where our cold air just stays in place. This one's going to develop more towards our west, so it's going to tap back into that warm Gulf of Mexico air and moisture. I don't think temperature is going to get too out of control because we've got a lot of cold air in place versus last couple of weeks, there's been no cold air. So it was just, free for all in terms of temps. But what this system is going to do is bring a warm frontal boundary in here sometime next Saturday into Sunday. And the guidance is pretty consistent with this as well. So we could have some ice on the northern end of this on Saturday. I think we would be all rain. And the models will probably trend a little bit further north with this as well. So I think we'd be safe from the ice. Something to watch. But this would be a big storm system that develops. And this is Saturday. Notice we're dry on Saturday, says the Euro. By Sunday, we've got a strong southerly flow around here, so we're warming things up on Sunday. And then look at this storm. Massive ice storm across areas of the upper Midwest. There's going to be a big snowstorm on the backside. It depends on how this evolves because the Euro takes it and kind of cuts it in with a deep trough, and it takes it from south to north. All right, and that keeps us in the warm flow the longest. The GFS is more progressive with it. So it develops a strong low, but it brings it from west to east pretty quick. So we don't get this 4-day storm system. We get like a 2-day storm system, and it's rain changing over to maybe some snow at the end on the GFS. But I like the Euro. The Euro has not led me, well, it does lead you wrong, but again, it's led me wrong less than the GFS has. So again, this is fantasy land now. We're now at next Monday, so not tomorrow, but a week from Monday. And the Euro has a real strong southerly flow. There'll likely be severe weather in the plains. There'll be an ice storm to the north and a snowstorm back out towards the west of that. And notice how this system kind of evolves, comes through here with some rain. There could be some storms. Too early to tell if there's going to be severe weather with that. The chances there for that. It doesn't look like a compact low. It looks like the low gets elongated, so there's not a lot of forcing, but something to keep an eye on. And notice that sharp drop in temperatures that would lead to maybe some wet snow at the end of it. And we're talking March 26th by then, okay? And then the cold air is kind of hanging out towards our west. But this, to me, if this pattern develops, we would spring some other kind of big storm system here. The Euro doesn't go any further than this, but this would spring up some kind of big storm system here because we'd have a jet stream laying right over us, and we'd be right on that battle zone between warm and cold. And this is March 27th ish. Okay. And that to me would spell potential, and this is way out in the future, but to me, the pattern recognition is that we would have the potential for some kind of severe weather outbreak in the Tennessee and Ohio valleys. And then we would be on the line between rain and probably some kind of snowstorm up in Wisconsin. And that would be to end March. All right. March, I believe, came in like a lamb. I don't remember any active weather then. And we were kind of like, because I know they asked me on the anchor desk and I was like, this is a lamb. It was nice. Right. So, usually comes in like a lamb, usually goes out like a lion, just saying. So this would be our lion here as we get into the end of March. So we'll see. But either way, kind of the synopsis of this, and I'm going to open it up to questions because that's all I've got tonight. Either way, kind of as a summary for everything, we've got colder air that's going to be in place with some snow chances to start the week. There's no big storm systems until we get towards the latter half of next weekend into the following week. And then it looks like an active pattern in terms of bigger storm systems again, with deep lows and big temperature contrasts and stuff like that. Okay. All right. So let us answer your questions, and then we'll get you on your way here on our lovely Sunday evening. All right. Let's see. Debbie, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Debbie asked a good question. She says, Matt, how unusual were those tornadoes in Ohio? Yeah. So we dealt with that. I do the morning show, so I forecasted it, and then the evening folks took over, which is so weird for me. We had tornadoes in our viewing area. You have two, and it was weird not to cover it live on air. It was very strange because I had to go to bed and wake up the next morning and cover like the damage part, which I didn't like. I'd rather forecast the tornadoes while they're happening, but that's a meteorological thing. All right. Good news is everyone was safe in our viewing area from that. So that's my main goal as being a TV meteorologist is that. But to answer your question in terms of how rare they were, they're pretty rare this time of year. They really are, especially in Ohio. The Indiana tornadoes were no slack either. I mean, you saw some of the damage from that. Illinois had tornadoes as well. I mean, this was just kind of, you knew we were in for something last week because in the last couple of weeks, because we've had 60 and 70 degree air around here. Right. And it was sticking around. And so we knew something had to give. You might as well, if you're going to have 60, 70 degree air, call it April around here when we typically get more severe weather. But that's all it took was an April-like setup in March to produce the severe weather. So rare, not unheard of. Tornado season is pretty much year round now here in the region as well. I mean, we've had tornadoes December. We can get tornadoes in January, a little less rare in January. But, whenever you get a lot of warm air, that's, way above average, you typically have it break somehow. And that usually comes via severe weather. If you're warm enough, 60s and 70s is all you need. So that's kind of, as we go forward, I mean, we're going to keep our eye out for any long-term doses of 60s and 70s here in the forecast as we go throughout the rest of the month and beginning of April, because, anytime that breaks with some cold air, you can get something on the backside of it. So for sure. Jill, yeah, same thing. Just wild, right? I mean, it's not unheard of. I've covered last couple of years. We've had tornado outbreaks. We had one in October. We had one in August, which is kind of a weird month. Another one in November. So again, tornado season's year round. We just need to be vigilant year round now, right? There's not really a tornado season anymore. Although we are more prone, right, as we get into April, even May. But still, it's year round now for sure. Savannah, thank you very much. Mark says plowing snow on Easter again. Yeah. Mark, we'll see. It depends. As of right now, I'm leaning no. I think we'll be on the warmer side of whatever develops, but there's going to be some kind of storm around Easter time. So we'll keep an eye on that. Easter, as a reminder, is, I believe, the 31st this year. So there's that. We'll see. That's a good question, Tom. So Tom says, how long into spring will Lake Michigan affect our temperatures in Northwest Indiana? And what Tom means by that, if someone just moved here, everyone else in the spring will have days where it's 70 and 80 degrees. And then if you live within, I don't know, 10, 15 miles, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's 10 miles or less. If you live close to Lake Michigan, it's much, much colder. I mean, much, much cold, like 40s and 50s. Downtown Chicago deals with that all spring long. And that's courtesy of lake breeze. So whenever you have, so if you think out over the lake, it's cold, right? The water temperature is cold. And so you have this dome of cold air. Cold air is heavy and dense, so it's down close to the ground, right? So you have this dome of cold air out over the lake. The land starts to warm up, and we get into the 60s, 70s, 80s in the spring, right? If the wind isn't strong enough, so a lake breeze occurs when you don't have a strong wind, okay? If the wind is strong enough, you can get warming all the way up towards the lakeshore. If the wind is strong out of the north, you get that cold air further inland, right? But if you have a day when the wind is light, then the heavy air mass out over the lake can play. All right. It comes to play. And what it does, what's heavy and dense, it'll expand inland because it's heavy and dense. The warm air from out over the land will go over it. Right. So you get that air that comes in, that cold lake breeze. And to answer your question, I mean, we play with it all the way through Memorial Day. It gets less and less severe of a change, you know, temperature wise. But we've had Memorial Days around here where we've had a lake breeze and it's been in the usually 50s by then. It's usually 50s near the lake shore. Meanwhile, you know, we're 85 or so inland. So really May is when we start to kind of see the lake breeze kind of go away. But it even happens in the summertime. It's just less extreme. In the summertime, we have 60 and 70 degree air near the lake shore. And a lot of times that lake breeze will trigger thunderstorm development in the summertime when it gets humid, because it acts kind of like a mini front. You'll have the lake breeze coming in, it'll hit warm, humid air, and boom, you get these explosive thunderstorms, much like Florida deals with every single day, all right, in the summertime and in the spring. Theirs is called a sea breeze, but it's the same thing, where you get the ocean air, which comes in on the daytime heating, and you'll see thunderstorms develop, and they kind of meet in the middle, then go the other way with storms. It's crazy. So that's that. Susan asked a good question. What is so it's not Grable. That's okay. You're doing great. It's Grapple. Here, I'll type it into the chat. So it's Grapple, spelled like that. G-A or Graupel. And what Grapple is it's not hail, it's not sleet. It's super cooled water droplets, which you don't need to know this on a Sunday night. Basically, it's a different precip type. Okay, it's not hail, it's not sleet, it's not formed the same ways. It's a super cool water droplet that cools and then doesn't melt. Basically, what Grapple is a Dippin' Dot. You know those little ice cream balls? It's a Dippin' Dot that falls to the ground, and they're kind of styrofoamy. They take a little while to crunch. Like you have to push kind of hard to crunch it. So that's what Grapple is, and we can get Grapple. We've had some today. It's those little balls that fall. They can mix with snow, they can mix with rain, or you can just have Grapple by itself. But they typically form in the fall, late fall, and they typically occur in early spring. So when we get setups like this, where we have March heating and you get some convective nature to the clouds, you can get some kind of convective precip or some heavier bursts of snow like we talked about. You can also get Grapple with that as well. So that's for sure, right? So that's it. Let's see. What else do we have? David asks, how many inches are we supposed to get? David, we're not going to get a lot of snow. LaPorte County is going to see a coating, maybe an inch or so tonight. This time of year, David, snow really only accumulates at night unless you have a big snowstorm. You really got to get snow cranking during the day to accumulate in late March. You can do it, but it would have to come via a snowstorm where just the snowfall rate overcomes any melting. But at nighttime, it's free for all. Any snow that falls at night, can typically accumulate. And that's what we're going to see tonight with some of this light stuff. So we'll have a coating in spots. It's not going to be a big deal tomorrow morning, but we will have some snow around as well. Maxwell has a nice report. Saw a pole snapped into pieces from a lightning strike. Shows you the power of weather. Yeah, Maxwell, thank you for that. I'm going to have nightmares tonight. If you don't know me well enough, I am scared of lightning. I do not like lightning at all. So there's that. Melanie asked a good question. Melanie, I missed this. Sorry. Does it look like the warmth will come back soon? Melanie, it does not, unfortunately. I don't see any big warm-ups in sight. There are some signs that, like the GFS, for example, is picking up on that late March storm. There'll be some kind of storm to end March, and it has us going way warm on it. It has us in the 60s and 70s for like a day. And then it has us getting down to the 40s after that. So we'll have to see how much warm air that system pulls out of the Gulf. But I don't see any prolonged 2, 3, 4-day stretches of warmth as of right now. We're going to stay on the cooler side. And we talked about that last week in the broadcast. We talked long-term kind of how we'd be dealing with cooler air for at least a week or so. So that's kind of where we are right now. All right. All right, everybody. I think that's it. Certainly appreciate you guys spending your Sunday night with me. I really do. I just love geeking out with you guys about weather. You always ask great questions, so I appreciate that. And that's it. That's all I got for you. So join us again, guys. We're on the radio every single day. It's X Rock 103.9, Indiana 105.5, and Z 107.1. We've got your forecast, your region weather forecast every single day. We do a chit chat, weather chat in the mornings, and we have a lot of fun. I really like working with them. So check us out on there. Also, regionweather.com. If you'd like a daily email to your inbox that just has today's forecast, I type it up in the morning myself, send it right to you. Have a little graphic in there for you as well. Short and sweet, non-invasive, but it pertains to you, and it's made by a human. It's not an automated forecast from a computer. So if you'd like that in your inbox every single morning, you can sign up on regionweather.com. Okay. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right. Bye.